Don't miss your chance to catch the Flap, Sweat, and Tears tour. Catch Sauce, Common, and Larry Mondello Guy for one night only at Bogarts in Apple Valley on March 21st. Tickets are available at bogartsentertainmentcenter.com. But you can win your way in by being caller, let's say 13, if you call 800-320-5326 right now.
This is KFAN News with Chris Hockey, presented by Carboni's Pizzeria.
And for Chris Hockey, I'm Zach Halverson. Good morning. This is the news. We begin with a buzzsaw of a storm that could dump many inches of snow onto the streets of Minnesota this week. Cory, Sauce, Muss, Ben.
Not again.
Get ready to go.
I mean, I just don't.
Nah, I don't buy it. I don't buy it.
Fall spring is the worst in Minnesota.
Happens all
again,
the time.
We had the easiest winter again.
Yeah.
It was a piece of cake, just a couple of really cold days, but in the big scheme of things,
A couple weeks ago weren't that great.
Yeah, but again, in big scheme of things, the last 4 or 5 months, not that bad.
No,
again.
not that bad.
And we were told all fall, it's going to be a rough one.
Yep.
Piece of cake again. So we shouldn't complain if we get 2 to 4 inches on Wednesday. If it truly happens, not the end of the world because it'll warm up and it'll be gone. It'll just be a couple of days. Again, last week we referred to it. It was a week and a half ago. It was the quote blizzard. It was gone in about 48 hours.
Okay,
Who
okay.
cares?
I beg to differ because you obviously don't do your own driveway.
Sure, I do.
Do you?
Sure.
Okay, seriously. I have had plowed truck drivers stop over and say to me, sorry. And I'm like, what? I just got done blowing the driveway. Oh, I'm bringing it all back down this way. I'm like, do you have to? And he's like, you live at the bottom of a hill, you idiot.
Yeah.
So then I got to spend another hour just shoveling that out. Because
Good exercise.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
Oh, really? What are you saying?
It's great for your low back.
What are you saying? What are you saying?
I think you're doing great.
You know
think
what?
you're doing a
I
good
eat
job.
and drink my feelings. What are you saying?
Same, brother.
And watch White Lotus? You must be depressed.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
That should be the title of the White Lotus. It should just be everyone sucks, everyone's depressed, everyone's jealous, everyone hates you, nobody really likes you, and your family's a terrible, terrible mess. That's the title of the show. Kind of like Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Yeah.
White Lotus is...
But isn't it kind of like Succession where you don't know which one you're supposed to hate? And then you find out later, oh, now I hate that one.
I agree, but I was never depressed watching Succession.
Yeah.
This one sucks the life out of humanity.
It's a tough watch.
It is it's fantastic,
Yeah, you
but it's a
can't look
tough
away.
watch. It's such a train wreck. And man, they are fully embracing incest this season.
Ugh.
Which is a thing that pops up on HBO from time to time. But this season, they're playing they're not going down that path, are they? And then you're like, oh, yes, they are.
I had to explain to my wife, I'm like, no, they're not stepchildren. I wish they
That's
were.
what I heard they were. They're not.
No.
Well, and sort
my.
of like Game of Thrones, I think I've seen more D on this show than any other show outside
frontal.
of Game. Yeah, full frontal dudes.
Yep.
Prosthetics are real. Whoa.
I didn't ask.
Wow.
Look,
I didn't pause.
Exactly. Yeah, I didn't analyze it. I didn't go frame by frame and zoom in to see if I can see the adhesive.
Throw it
on
in the
there.
AI real quick.
Zacho, I hate to ask the expert, but does it matter?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, of course it does.
Why?
It's
If
If
a
you
girl
can't
takes
tell.
if a girl takes the top off and it's big old fake ones, does it really matter?
If
that's
those two.
that's different.
We're saying as a viewer, if you can't tell if it's real or not, then what's the difference?
The integrity of the whole thing.
the art.
Do you not believe in that character anymore? Like,
No. Why do you
that's
think
fake. Everything else must be.
Why do you think Monsters, the Menendez story, was so captivating?
Because
you see a
monster. Exactly.
Wasn't the actor guy actually mad that people were having this discussion?
That's his actual he brought it up, man.
Yeah.
He told the Andy guy from Bravo. What is it?
Andy Cohen.
Andy Cohen?
Andy Cohen, yeah. He said...
Don't act like you don't know.
He went out of his...
They asked him. Yeah.
He went out of his way to tell... I don't even think he... No, he didn't even ask him. He literally, Cooper, the actor, volunteered that information.
Yeah.
Wonder why.
God bless him.
Yeah, I would
I'd
too.
volunteer that
Please, can
information.
everyone stop talking about how huge my crank is?
I'd have a
It's making me
billboard.
uncomfortable how often you guys bring it up.
Yeah,
Oh, please.
no, he was not.
Please don't.
See,
He wasn't
that's
doing
why
that.
you're depressed that you have to shovel. It's because no one's going around going, is Moss wearing a prosthetic or is that real?
Right.
Oh, my.
He must
guy
have
at
got
the
that
end
on
of
the
the-
cheap.
It's just always cold out when you're shoveling. That's what it is.
Brilliant.
He got that on Etsy.
You got the Timu prosthetic.
Come on, man.
Went to Dimu.
You gotta invest in that, man. It's like your mattress, you actually gotta
Yeah.
put money into it.
Buy a nice
It's important. 8 people are pleading guilty to their part in one of the largest fentanyl busts in Minnesota history. Authorities say the defendants would travel to Phoenix to get fentanyl pills from suppliers and then hide the pills in stuffed animals before mailing them to the Twin Cities. The drug trafficking operation was run from August 2024 to March 12th of this year. One of the defendants was sentenced last November to 13 years behind bars. Sentencing for the others has yet to be scheduled.
Should be life.
I wonder how that comes undone. Like, does one drug deal go bad and they realize, they're hiding them in the stuffed animals, and then the whole thing gets
Maybe
upended?
one of those animals talked.
Yeah.
Otherwise, how do you figure that out? I wonder. I don't know how anything works.
Build a Bear workshops are a bunch of snitches.
Yeah, it wasn't a very long operation, it sounds like. Just 6 months, right? Something like that, 6-7
August
months.
2024 to March 12th. So yeah, I mean,
I bet you it was like what you see in the movies. They got some underling.
Correct.
They arrested some underling, and they're like, "Listen, you plead with us. You tell us who the top people are and how it's getting done. You get off scot-free."
Yeah, or it's 40 years in prison.
Yeah. And then that person rats out the whole operation,
Yeah.
and then they track it for a little while, and then like, "Yep, we got all the evidence we need."
I would talk so fast. I'm one of those people, you can tell. You're going to jail for 40 years. All right. How many names do I
what
have
do
to
you
give
need?
you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll tell you about my grandma jaywalking back in 2005. What do you want to know?
What do you need to know? You're going to be a rat for the rest of your life. Well, yeah, at least I'll be out of prison, though.
Yeah,
but
right.
again, prison life doesn't sound that bad.
God, you loved prison life.
and for
Podcast
a
and pickleball.
stuffed animal, I mean, you'd be passed around nicely out there.
What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Passed around nicely.
Man, that's
I'm
a
just
weird
saying.
sentence.
At least you said nicely.
Yeah.
You know, that
Nicely
We'll
is
be
the
gentle
key.
with you, Cory.
Yeah.
Oh my! Los Angeles County jury is ordering Starbucks to pay a local resident $50 million after the man was severely burned by a tray of hot teas he bought at the coffee shop. The man filed a lawsuit against the company in the wake of the incident, alleging it was negligence that caused the tray to collapse, spilling the drinks. Starbucks plans to appeal the verdict.
$50 million?
Man.
Damn.
So
it
much.
landed on his crotch, though, right?
Yeah.
Get a prosthetic.
Yeah. Not at Demu, though.
I mean, I'm not advocating for insurance fraud, but how do I make this happen? I'm totally willing to have somebody spill something on me, cash
On
those
your
tickets.
crotch?
On your crotch.
I mean, if that can be avoided, that would be great. But like thighs, sure. What do I care? 50 mil for burnt thighs?
No.
I think I'm with you, man.
100%. Sign me up.
I got plenty of skin down there. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Take a chunk out. I don't care. Just avoid the.
Got more than most.
What
actually.
if instead of
My
spilled,
God.
what if somebody splattered something on you? What if somebody squirted something on you?
Ugh. I mean, who are you asking?
Well, I'm just.
Are we back in prison again now?
I think the action sort of matters here.
Pretty sure Tommy's screaming, "Help is on the way!"
The bat signal goes out.
Tommy'd love to be splattered on. Oh, gross.
Guys, we're doing the oh no Kool-Aid man thing. He's going to be popping in here all of a sudden.
Are we talking though? Again, hot coffee or hot tea, or what? What are we? Is this tar? What are we splattering on us?
I guess we got it. The
don't wanna be tarred
the
and
coffee
feathered.
tea thing's been done, so we have to think about something else.
Tweet us your favorite hot things to get poured on you.
No, don't.
Squirted on.
Didn't our guy Cy have hot coffee spill on his privates?
I don't know.
I think he did. I think he's told us that story.
Yeah, he
And
said
how embarrassing it was to show the nurse his burnt wiener. I think he's told us that.
No wonder he never came out with a song after Gangnam Style.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah.
Actually, Gentleman was a banger.
Yeah, that's on Wales too. Yeah. That Psy song is great. I love that song.
I love watching those videos of his live
sweet.
shows.
Oh, it's amazing.
Got a billion people going
Yeah,
nuts.
and they go ballistic.
Yep, looks fun.
One more quick story. If you get a text from the IRS saying that, hey, it's your time to claim your $1,400 check as part of the economic impact payment rebate, you should definitely click on it because it's definitely real. No, don't. Please don't. Jesus Christ, don't. Please.
Oh, you just told me to.
Yeah, big scam going around, and anybody eligible for the check will just receive it by mail. You won't actually have to click on the link or anything like that. So, don't do that. And pretty much anything. There's also another scam going around too about tolls.
Yeah, I get that all the time.
Don't click on that. Don't really click on anything anymore, especially if it's coming from John Kriesel.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's just a good life lesson.
Hey, Zacho.
Yeah.
Since you're sort of like our resident tech guy here, can I ask you this question? So I was so extremely fortunate to get that toll thing.
Yeah.
And I knew what it was. It's not like I was like, oh my gosh, I got to pay this, whatever. If I click on it to get to the message so I can block the number, am I safe by doing that? Like, do you have to literally click the link?
You have to click the link. Yeah.
Okay.
And even
just by going into the message is not like triggering anything.
Correct. And even 99 times out of 100, you're fine even if you accidentally click the link. There are malicious links more for like Android users than iPhone users, but it's basically just a way to get the people who aren't aware of these scams to click on that, and then they put their credit card in, and then that's how the scam works.
Gotcha.
So if you accidentally click on the link, like sometimes they'll pop up and you're going to click something else and it opens that up. I wouldn't panic. I'd definitely close the tab and everything to be safe, but they're not that sophisticated for the most part, but obviously there are some really good people out there that are very good at being bad. So be careful. Be careful out there, everybody. Don't click on those links.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Sauce will walk us through sports after this. We'll talk Vikings news in about 20 minutes as well. This is the Power Trip Morning Show with Michael J. Mussman III and Ben Lieber on The Fan.
The Fan.
The Power Hour starts at 8 a.m. and you can stream it live at KFAN.com/watch, powered by our friends at Quantum Fiber. Fiber, your world unleashed.
All right, welcome back to the Power
Time
Trip.
for
Let's go.
Fan 5 on the Power Trip, presented by All Around, your TimberTech deck building contractor.
Thanks all around.
Turn my mic on. The Wolves crushed the Jazz 128-102 and had 41. It's his 40th game of the season, which is a franchise record. The Wolves have won 8 straight. Your Wolves are 11 games above 500 at 40-29. That victory was Chris Finch's 200th of his career. Maxo, they battle the Pacers tonight. The Wolves, are 7.5-point favorites.
Yeah, I would normally be worried about them on the second night of a back-to-back, but most of the starters didn't even have to play at the end of the game. That game was pretty much over from the first quarter. Anthony Edwards had damn near 20 points in the first quarter and he hit a million threes and dunked on Walker Kessler. It was amazing. It was the best way to probably start a game like that. And they're red hot. The only problem is Golden State has been just as hot. I think they've only lost one game since that Jimmy Butler has played in.
Yeah.
I was dead wrong about that whole situation. I didn't think it was going to make that much of a difference, but they're obviously balling out right now. So hopefully we could get a loss in there but they have a really easy schedule. Wolves' schedule isn't too difficult coming up, but yeah, Anthony Edwards is liable basically to drop 40 on any given night. Julius Randle is finding guys in the right spots, even when he's not offensively. Like last night he scored 11, but he had 4 assists, 3 rebounds. He's finding different ways to contribute. Dante DiVincenzo is finally kind of filling that Mike Conley role of being the facilitator. And not for nothing, ever since the calendar flipped, Jaden McDaniels has been balling. We've all been asking for this Jaden McDaniels for pretty much his entire tenure as a Timberwolf, and now he is finally balling. And that mixed with Julius coming back has given Ant a lot more space. And he said he watched some tape on Luka Doncic on how to handle the double teams and all that. So he's figuring it out. This whole team is figuring it out. They look like they're having fun, and we're having fun watching them.
Can I share an interesting stat?
Yeah.
You guys may have already brought it up.
Unbelievable.
I may have. I doubt
You
it.
probably did, though.
I doubt it.
Anthony Edwards yesterday, 21 first quarter points. Utah had 20 as a team in the first quarter.
Yeah, he was. He was
nuts.
dominant.
Yeah,
We didn't even. What the rest of the guys were? What were they out there for?
And not for nothing, the Wolves had, they had 1 million steals last night
Yeah.
as well. They were just locking them down.
That's
Utah's
fun.
a miserable team, but yeah, Anthony Edwards almost single-handedly beat the Jazz by himself in the first quarter. So
There are some statistics that I'd like to share with you now, and they are numbers.
Marnie was great on the call, and
The Slim Slam was a brilliant call.
and it was awesome just having it roll right in from the players to after Anthony had put up a wonderful showing against Utah.
Yeah, it was excellent.
sweet, man.
Your Wild, Zacho battled the Kings tonight. They have lost 2 straight. They got beat up badly by the Blues on Saturday night, 5-1.
Yeah, nothing went right for them. That sucked. They had a good second period, but just never. They got to get offense. They're struggling mightily in getting goals, and it just doesn't get any easier. So they need points. They need them badly here. They're hanging on to that wild card spot for now, but it's gut check time here because they're not. The Cavalry ain't coming right now. Unfortunately, so they need to figure it out with what they have. Sorry.
No, that's all right. The Minnesota Twins opened their season in St. Louis a week from this Thursday. It's right around the corner. But yesterday, in a spring training game, this will shock everyone. Royce Lewis got hurt. He has a strained hamstring, is what they're calling it.
Do they overwork him in the?
He's always hurt.
Yeah,
Always. If he was
he and Buxton, right?
Buxton always hurt.
I mean, I think last year, didn't the three, and I probably am wrong, but I think I got this from the Gleeman and the Geek podcast. I think Royce Lewis, Carlos Correa, and Buxton played like 17 games total together. It's something like that.
Hey, Benjamin.
Yeah.
Growing up, we've said this a lot on this show, but growing up, for whatever reason, hockey players in my school just hated the basketball players. They thought they were all soft, right? And it's like, you guys aren't physical. They don't quite understand how physical basketball is. It's not as physical as hockey. No one's debating that, but there's some physicality under
Until
the hoop,
you get
right?
on the court and you find out.
And then you realize how physical it is.
Yeah.
Oh, they beat the crap
But
out
in
of
terms of injury, right? Football makes a lot of sense why people get hurt. Hockey makes a lot of sense why people get hurt. Basketball, it makes a lot of sense why ankles get shattered, because how can you jump and not land on another foot once in a while and roll your ankle? As a football player, do you go, how do baseball players get hurt so often when really all you're doing is running? I mean, seriously, the amount of baseball players that suffer significant injuries running the bases is kind of insane.
Yeah, but at bat, you're putting a lot of torque on your body.
For sure.
Yeah, but they're not getting hurt at the at-bat circle. They're getting hurt because
Running
they
the bases.
pop something halfway to first.
And it's always Royce Lewis.
So if it's Buxton crashing into the wall, that I get. You just ran into a wall. I don't care if it's padded or not. You're going full speed. That should hurt. You could break an arm or something. I get it. When you see a baseball player round first base and then grab their hamstring, you're like, wow. I mean, you're crazy athletic, but I think there's other sports that are rolling their eyes at you running around the bases and getting hurt.
Well, shocking that my answer to that, based on the baseball players that I knew, my brother being one of them, played D1 baseball.
Oh, sick brag.
I'm just saying that he didn't play it like some low-level baseball program that they didn't know what they were doing. You know, there's not a lot of continued explosive movement in baseball. I mean, look at the John Crooks of the world. Look at the CC Sabathias of the world. You know, there are some athletes, and
our guy Ken Herbeck,
and you have to be like Buxton in center field is elite with his athleticism and his, he can, from a standing stop, just like accelerate like faster than probably anybody else in the league. But to sustain that over a course of 5 months. It's just not what they're trained to do. I agree with Musk. You swing a bat real hard, your body has to be very conditioned for that torquing movement. For pitchers, your body has to be in tune with like your arm and your shoulder and your elbow. All of that
throwing from your legs. Yeah,
you're throwing from your base and your legs. Like, I'm not saying that there's not an art form to it, but they're not exactly going out there and running gassers and sprints and doing quick twitch movements over a sustained amount of time. So when they exit the batter's box and they have to sprint real hard, they don't do that very often. Their bodies aren't built like that.
So in terms of softness of athlete injuries, if we go most difficult to least difficult, do you go football, hockey, basketball, baseball?
Yeah.
That's the order?
Yeah, I think.
Anybody disagree with that
that's
order?
The order?
Yeah, I would say. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel pretty good about that, too.
I feel pretty good about
Football's the
that.
most violent. Hockey second. Basketball is not, but it's definitely more likely to get injured than baseball.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, football, you're hitting every play.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's a collision every play. Hockey is not
Obviously,
every play. You can go out on a shift and not get hit.
Hockey can produce bigger hits than football
and
can.
Horrible injuries.
But football is
football.
I mean,
they're going 30 miles an hour, Lieber. If two of them collide in open ice, it's going to be a bigger hit than anything you see on a football field. I'm sorry.
I agree.
Are you saying Ben can't get up to 30 miles an hour?
Have you seen him?
Let's find one of those speed
agree.
limit things.
Exactly. Haven't you seen The Office?
I would agree with. I would agree with you.
I'm
on
not.
that.
I want
that was a
majority of the big, the most and more consistently big collisions will be on a football field, and by far the injuries are because of that.
Yeah, I would agree with that. The amount of explosive hits happen probably less frequently, but are bigger in a hockey game and ice arena. I mean, you also have
bigger players.
Well, you have the boards to deal with, and the ice is like there's no forgiveness when you hit the ice.
No,
so it's the impact, it's the hitting of the ice, it's up against the boards. I would agree with that. Yeah, it just doesn't happen as much as in football.
Thank God.
When Tyreek Hill's at full speed, what is he, like 22 miles an hour?
23, I think.
22 or 23, which is insane, right?
Yeah.
But to Zach's point, when he's running his fastest speed, if he gets tackled, it's not head on with somebody else going 23 miles an hour in the other direction, right? It's somebody going slightly slower that gets a hand on him, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But still, football people, everybody understands. You have 300-pound men falling on you. Yeah, you're going to roll an ankle or break a leg or something. That sucks.
That was a text from Tony.
Football, it's like, oh man, I stepped on a base and my knee baseball, my knee just shattered. It's
or
like,
I'm just running to first.
I get it.
And it's over. Yeah,
I feel terrible for those people.
Yeah, I do too. And Royce is a good dude, man.
Super good
He's
dude.
a great player. He's just always hurt.
Yeah. It just sucks when, Grant Hill's one of the great examples, right? When great players cannot stay healthy and they just can't stay out of their own way, it just sucks because it's like Grant Hill could have been one of the all-time great players if he had stayed healthy.
For sure.
He was still like perennial all-star Hall of Fame caliber, but he could have been like great.
D Rose.
Yep.
Yeah.
Another good example.
One, yeah.
Okay, so this is an old take because I don't know what the training regiments are like for modern day baseball. But when I was in college and I knew some of the K-State baseball players, and then based on like what my brother went through, they're more concerned with running miles than they are running sprints. Like,
which doesn't make sense.
I don't know if it's like this old school mentality. They just have to be cardiovascular, like fit in that way. But they would go for like long runs, or they like, hey, go run the foul lines, and they go like touch the foul poles. And it's just a slap ass period anyway. Like, so many of these guys, they don't have to put in a ton of time when it comes to like, some of the cardio stuff. It's just like go for a long run, just get out of here, get out of my way, just go for a run. These guys need to train more like football players. Like they need to be doing like more sprints and more doing stuff
you would
like
think
that.
It's more explosive even for the outfielders. I mean, when you got to go track down a ball, or if you're in the infield, you're making really quick moves to try to get something.
And you're going backwards as well. Like you're going to drop at a 45-degree angle and sprint backwards to try to just catch up to the flight of the ball. I don't know, man. They might do a couple of those drills, but they don't do a lot of them. They don't do it for a long extended amount of time.
I'd like to think they're smart enough, though, to like
Spartans. They're Spartans.
Spartans.
Yeah.
Well, this is Sparta.
He's talking about Michigan State baseball.
Yeah, but they got to be smart enough, right? Nowadays with all the technology and the sports people that they pay hundreds of thousands of dollars.
That's why I admit like this is a really old take because
but it might not be because we do still see these injuries all the time, and I don't know. But then again, when you play 162 plus another 50, spring training games.
Yeah, but some of the stuff is happening like right now.
Right.
You're not in a game 132. You're like, that's kind of understandable. That's a grind on your body. You're not getting a lot of sleep and blah, blah, blah. This is country club time. Like, you have nothing but time.
You're playing golf.
Yeah, you're golfing. You're hanging out in a pool. You do a little bit of baseball, and then you're done for the day.
We should be pulling our hamstrings running to first.
Correct.
That'd be fun.
That would make sense.
I would be sure would blow my hamstring.
That would make sense.
I would, yeah. And it hurts so damn bad. It feels like you got shot.
All right, when we come back, it's the story that won't die. And I know there's people out there going like, oh, God, like it's not going to happen. Why do we keep talking about it? This is exactly what Aaron Rodgers wants is attention. Well, it won't die. I still think it's super, super, super unlikely, but I'm just guessing like the rest of us. But we'll see what Ben thinks after this during Vikings News on The Fan.
The Fan. Vikings News on the Power Trip, presented by
Redco, your truck accessories pro.
All right, Vikings News, Benjamin. Last time we talked to you, you were talking about the backup quarterback. We were talking about names like Gardner Minshew and Mason Rudolph and guys like that, right? Well, in the last 4 or 5 days, Minshew signed with KC. Rudolph went back to the Steelers.
Yep.
Over the weekend, Cooper Rush signed with the Ravens. So what's happening here from a Vikings perspective is you're looking at the roster and you have J.J. McCarthy, who was a rookie last year who didn't play a snap because he got hurt in the preseason. And you have 28-year-old Brett Rippon, and that's it. So what happens is we're looking for that backup, and these names keep flying off the board. And you're looking around going, all right, if they don't sign Aaron Rodgers, because I don't believe they're going to, who the hell are we going to sign? So then, as Sauce keeps saying, and he's not wrong, the rumors just won't go away because we're not making that signing to quiet them.
Right.
Now, like I mentioned an hour ago, it doesn't matter if every, quote, backup quarterback on the planet signs somewhere else. There's no, 11th commandment that says you have to sign Aaron Rodgers because he doesn't have a team. We don't have to sign him at all.
No.
It's not our responsibility.
No.
But what are we going to do? Let's say the Vikings are adamantly opposed, or not even adamantly. Let's just say they decide we're not going the Rodgers path. It's not worth the headache. He's not worth $30+ million. If we were going to do that, we were going to do Darnold. Who the hell is going to be the backup if they don't go Rodgers?
I got a name for you.
Go.
And I've seen this circulate on the interwebs, but not widely circulated. And it's a name
Guardsy.
a name that came across that was brought to my attention that I think makes a ton of sense. And I think that people would be excited about.
Chad Abbott.
So it's a veteran name?
It's a veteran name. Used to be a starter. Played for Maxo's favorite team.
It's Ryan Tannehill.
It's Ryan Tannehill.
Not Flacco.
Not Flacco.
How old is he now? Early 30s?
Yeah, maybe early. I don't think he played at all last year, which is why he's not on anybody's radar. And it's a name when I saw it.
He's 36.
I was like, is he that old?
Yeah.
And he's also made a pile of money. I didn't realize how much money he's made.
Yeah, cashed in.
He'll be 37 at the start of training camp.
When I heard that name, I said that name makes the most sense of any other name out there. Because for everything that you just mentioned, Corey, we're looking for a backup quarterback. Tannehill knows the drill. He's going to come in with starting experience. He's going to have this vet experience. He seems like a guy that I think KOC would like with a strong arm and all this other stuff. I mean, probably more limited mobility, but still sort of an athlete. He was kind of known as an athlete. Max can probably talk a lot more than I can about him. But I think that he makes a ton of sense. He would come in and be the backup. He would push McCarthy and mentor him in all the right reasons and all the right ways. So I'm sort of secretly hoping that that's the signing they make for backup quarterback. I've said it since day one. I don't mind Aaron Rodgers as a person. I do not think that he fits on this team at all.
Agreed. By the way, speaking of Aaron Rodgers and the age, right? Because he's 41. I have like the people that are like, well, what if we sign Joe Flacco? They're like, I don't want Flacco. He's like ancient. He's like 90 years old. He's younger than Rodgers. That's crazy, right? It feels like Flacco is 49 years old. Seriously, right? Like,
but he would be coming in as a backup.
I agree, but it's just like, we can't sign him. He's too old. You want a 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers or a 40-year-old Joe Flacco? I would much rather have 40-year-old Joe Flacco be the backup than 41-year-old Aaron Rodgers be the starter.
I don't think it has anything to do with the age of Aaron Rodgers. Moreover, what he brings with him. The luggage that you have to carry, the extra luggage with him, and how weird he is, and how all of a sudden he's just going to go off and do some kind of vacation or whatever, his ayahuasca. And
that sounds fun.
I just think that there's just too much of a headache, and especially with how the Vikings, and you hear about the culture all the time and the locker room and how they all get along and stuff like that. That's the last thing you need.
Sauce your hands up.
What if, from Aaron Rodgers' standpoint, I know he's got all that, right? You don't know what he's going to say on McAfee. You don't know what he's going to do, all that stuff, if he's going to show up or play along. What if he has finally realized that this is his last shot, right? He wore out his welcome in one of the biggest markets in New York. I'm just saying.
Sure.
But like, what if this is just his last
and
shot?
A team that looked like they were actually
Correct.
On the verge.
He's not going to the Giants, right?
No,
right?
No.
I mean, I don't know.
Worst,
but it'd be entertaining.
But to Cory's point, that's not our responsibility.
No, but
like, I don't care if he's like, this is my last hurrah. Like, I don't care. You've had a 20-plus year career to get more Super Bowls. It didn't work out for you. That's not for the Vikings to be like, to give you a solid.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there are rumors from credible sources that they are thinking about this. This isn't like this isn't just making it up to push people to The Athletic, right? This is a legitimate source. There are people that think that they are contemplating this, right?
I would totally get
that. And it's
that.
not because they feel bad for the guy. The guy has a home in Malibu. You can't feel bad for him.
I mean, obviously, you're going to think of every single avenue or possibility if you're Kwesi and if you're, KOC. You're never going to not think about it, right? So you don't, so that, if that's the source. But I wonder if the source is really coming more so on Aaron Rodgers' side.
For sure.
And that they're building the storyline more than the Vikings are.
So, Ben, here, ask or answer this question for me, because ProFootballTalk.com has the story that the Seahawks can basically get out of this new 3-year, $100 million or whatever it was, Sam Darnold deal.
Yeah.
After 1 year, they can basically get out for $37.5 million. There are other reports, again, who knows how credible they are, but they're saying that Rodgers wants a Darnold-esque deal for a 1 year basis, somewhere in that 33 to 35 million range. This is, I think, the point that I can't get over. If you just want Rodgers for 1 year, and I don't think anybody would expect a deal to be more than a 1 year deal, right? Play it year by year.
Correct.
If you just were going to run it back for 1 year and delay the J.J. McCarthy experiment one more year and wanted to have a veteran quarterback who's ready to win now for 1 more year, wouldn't you rather have Darnold at 37.5 than Rodgers at 33?
Correct.
100% I'd rather have Darnold. And again, for people that are going like that's nuts. You're talking about Aaron Rodgers. That we're not talking about Aaron Rodgers in his prime. If you watch the Jets games last year, he didn't look good. He had moments where he put up some good games, but again, Darnold across the board basically had stats better than him in almost every metric. And again, universally loved in the locker room. You don't have any of the Aaron Rodgers off the field headaches. So you have the locker room, a guy that everybody loves, and he was putting up monster numbers. We're going to see, Ben, obviously, if Darnold was a part of the system or if this truly was his moment, right? If he goes to Seattle and struggles, maybe this system was just perfect for him. But what we do know is that it worked in this system. He probably would run it back again and have a really big year again for the Vikings next year. And if he sucks in Seattle, people are going to go, see, that's why you shouldn't have signed him. We should have got Rodgers. I think we can probably pretty fairly say that he would have success here again. I think it's going to be super interesting if he doesn't in Seattle.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know that we won 14 games, right? I get that. the thing is, are we really that close? And we're not rolling back again. We brought this up before. This isn't 2009, where we're really just a quarterback away.
How do you not? How do we not know that?
Right, that
we're
team
loaded on defense.
The team they
on
put together
paper, we
is
don't know
stacked.
anything about how this pans out. I mean, we're
true, but
we
it
signed a
looks
bunch
like-
of guys that are coming off injuries. We got some of them are in their 30s, 32.
Rodgers thinks we're ready. That's why look at how good the Steelers
Correct.
are. He thinks this is the roster
Yes.
that he's the difference on. That's why he's waiting. He thinks they're a quarterback
It's a
away.
And they can play the Packers twice.
We might not
It's
be
a
but-
better landing for him.
Yeah, because
but
he
for
thinks
us, do we
we're-
need that? I don't think we're that close to actually like making a run for the Super Bowl.
But we didn't think that last year, and look at how good we were with a quarterback that was competent. I think Rodgers thinks this roster on paper is good enough and that he can be the difference. If JJ is super good, this team should be very competitive again.
I just tap the brakes just a little bit. This on paper, what they've done in free agency has been
outstanding.
Well, yeah, only because the fact that they addressed the things that they most needed in the trenches, essentially. That's been the biggest. Obviously, bringing in the running back, that's with Mason, that's going to be a huge 1-2 punch. But ultimately, we don't know how that's going to pan out.
All right, let's back up though, Ben, to the Darnold Rodgers debate. So let's say that they did want to kick it back 1 year with one of these vets, and you said you would rather have Darnold at 37.5 than Rodgers at 33 or 35. So tell me why. Talk about why you would rather go that route. If those are the only two options in this hypothetical.
In this hypothetical, I think that Darnold just would give you more athleticism. He'd give you more escapability. I mean, that is the one thing that Aaron Rodgers just doesn't have. And I know that he's going to have another year post Achilles recovery, but he's just not the same guy running around back there as a 28-year-old Sam Darnold is. So, and I think Sam at this point has a comparable arm strength down the field. And for everything that Musk brought up, I mean, there's not going to be this issue with off the field stuff. Again, if whoever signs Aaron Rodgers, hopefully it's not the Vikings. I think they're going to get one more year out of him. He's going to try to squeeze every little bit of magic out of him, but I just don't think that he would be the best mentor to JJ McCarthy. I know that he would know his role a little bit more, but we've seen what happens when you have a guy like Jordan Love watch Aaron Rodgers. His fundamentals are a mess. It's kind of hard to put the toothpaste back in the tube. I think with him, you got to almost like break him down and start all over again to break all the bad habits that he watched from Rodgers, who Rodgers watched from Favre, and it just doesn't translate to every player. And what KOC has talked about all the time with whenever Sam was not performing well or he was off on his timing, it was all about fundamentals. Like he wanted to break him down, from the footwork all the way up to his eyesight and what he was looking at. That's not happening with Rodgers at all. Rodgers is going to do his thing. He's been doing it for over 20 years. He's going to do his thing. You're not going to be able to coach him the way that you think that he should be coached. And I think that he'd be a bad mentor for a young quarterback that's just still trying to figure it out and do things the right way. I think they'd get along, but I think from a professional standpoint, I think that he would not be an asset for the Vikings and for McCarthy going forward. And I think you'd have the potential of pushing McCarthy out. If you don't believe in McCarthy now, then why would you believe in him next year? And if I'm in McCarthy's camp and I feel like I'm always getting pushed to the side and being told I'm not ready without getting a fair chance to prove myself, then I would say, let me take my services elsewhere where they actually want to believe in me and put me on the field.
And in the same way, we don't owe anything to Aaron Rodgers. We don't owe him an opportunity to play here, right? As an organization, you technically don't owe JJ anything, right? It's an honor to be in the NFL. We can dismiss him and move on from him if we want in a heartbeat, right? But to your point, if they do value him, you have every right in his camp to be like, what is the deal here? Right? Quit jerking me around. Is he in a position to say, well, I'm, one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. I can do it. No, he's a kid. He's a rookie. No. But he still has a right to go, well, am I ever going to get a shot here? Because if not, how do we get out of here and start fresh somewhere else?
And I know
you're totally right.
I know that there are people out there saying like, yeah, but let's take Jordan Love for instance. It was probably best that he sat for a couple years and then he got his opportunity. that is a completely wholly different situation.
Yeah, Jordan Love didn't win a national championship the last time he played football.
Well, no, and he was brought in a situation where everybody knew that they already had a starting quarterback. They have a Hall of Fame starting quarterback, and it was just kind of like, hey, we're gonna use this draft pick because we just need to plan for the future, and that future they told him was going to be years down the road. Like, this is your opportunity to just learn, to mature, understand the game, then you'll get your opportunity. This situation was like, McCarthy could have started last year. Like, that was the pretense in which he got drafted. So it's a completely different situation. I know that sitting and waiting can be beneficial, but that's not what it was supposed to be here.
Good morning, Chris.
Oh,
Hey, Sauce.
Yeah, Daddy.
Here's what's going to happen. About, I don't know, March or April, a year from now, I'm going to be sitting high on ayahuasca, holding Aaron Rodgers' hand as we parade down Nicollet Avenue with our Super Bowl champion trophy. And none of you sons of bitches are allowed on that float. It's just going to be me and Sauce and maybe Maxo, because we need some ladies on there. So I'm going to tell you, we're going to sign that guy. We're going to bring him in. It's going to be one magic year, just like it was with Favre, except for he won't throw across his body. Touchdown, Vikings win, Super Bowl, we win. I got a trophy. I'm high on ayahuasca. Aaron Rodgers and I are best friends, and we're rolling on out of here to some island somewhere to sit in the darkness and hold hands.
Like I said an hour ago, the heel turn Hawk has made on this is excellent.
I know, I'm
it's
shocked.
excellent.
I'm
I love
absolutely shocked.
it. I love it.
I'm in.
Yep.
Aaron Rodgers is my guy. Let's do some ayahuasca. Come on now.
You might be
Hold
on
on,
it
I got
already.
somebody. They're looking at my women.
You're in Indiana then, right?
I am in Indiana as we speak right now. Yeah.
You got to fight
I'm
now.
pretty sure that this guy eyeballing me over here.
Yeah,
I don't
he's
like
going to fight.
Well, why don't you just drive over and broadcast with us? We're just in downtown Indianapolis. It's where we broadcast from.
Oh, yeah. I'm not allowed in a big city like that. Once I get back here in Union City, I'm not.
Okay.
They keep me out of there. There's a definite divide between those bastards in Indianapolis. And the rest of
Union
us out here in the
City
country.
hockey loves Aaron Rodgers.
Aaron Rodgers is my guy.
Yep.
He should have played for us. He should have gone to, he was supposed to go to some Big Ten college, and he got duped. I don't remember what it was, and that started the downhill spiral. But I'm going to tell you guys right now. Look at right now. There's a parade through downtown Minneapolis. We're not going to St. Paul. It's too small. Downtown Minneapolis, Super Bowl trophy with our things hanging out as we cruise down Nicollet Avenue, shaking them right at you, Cory Cove. He said, nay, just like you said, nay to Brett Favre after he had a bad year in New York. I got it all figured out. I could see it, the crystal ball.
Yeah, I forget the Super Bowl parade that we had for Favre.
Yeah.
Forget about that.
Yeah, I said we did it, you big dumbass. I'm telling you right now, we got to figure this out.
Oh, so
he threw across his body. That's something that Aaron Rodgers would never do.
No,
He'd
never.
throw across
No,
his
he
body.
would never
He
do
would
that.
never do it.
I've never traveled to Indiana with Hawk, but this is how you sound when we're down there with you. Is that correct?
I don't know what you're talking about. Listen, here's what I know.
What is it called? Like code switching?
Code switching, yeah.
You hear it too, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's an awful lot.
I hear the drawl.
Yeah, I hear a lot of Martin Moisture in there.
I can't help it. I keep switching into Martin Moisture. I know I can't help it.
It's about to get
All right.
Martin's take on this NFL draft coming up too.
Oh, but don't worry. Martin's made up a list of names. I'm pretty sure it's going to be his last day ever.
I can't wait.
All right. I miss you guys. Where do you see the car I bought? I'll be home soon.
Oh my God! You bought another car?
Do you want me to send you a text to the car I bought?
Yes.
You won't believe it.
It's got to be a Camaro or a Trans Am coming from Indiana.
No, I just say this. You're going to nickname it Meat. That's all I'm going to say. Meat.
Oh, because it's fast.
Oh, my God. You got to see the lady at the Pack-a-Sack. Oh, sweet lady.
Meat or meat?
My. I'm going to tell you right now, this type of lady I'm looking at right now is the kind of lady that'll keep you warm all winter long.
Talk
You
about
don't
it.
need a cover.
You're on the air.
This lady, she's the kind of lady that sweats in a snowstorm. That's the kind of girl I'm after.
My God, you are horny.
Hey, look over here. Look at that.
He's so horny.
I'm about to get busy. I'll see you guys later.
All right, appreciate your time. Take care now. You hear?
Shoot.
Can't wait to see your El Camino.
Wow. He turned into Indiana hockey in 48 hours.
I was like, you guys were hearing that too, right?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Once you're back in the thick of it,
Yeah.
it just
Can't
takes
help
over.
himself.
It's like the Spider-Man symbiote.
Yeah.
We'll do Fan 5 in a second. Headlines in the 8 o'clock hour as well. 1 hour to go. The Power Trip Morning Show. Lieber is here. Mussman is here. This is the Power Trip on the Fan.